So where is that snowshoe hare? You will see in the second part of Animal Adaptations to Extreme Weather. Other things that I'm talking to you about that animals have had to adapt to. One of them you will see with the wildebeest who have to adapt to drought and how they have to move from one area to the next because of the extreme drought that they experience all year. Is migration. These wildebeest are migrating across this river and will travel several miles a day. Looks like quite a crowd. Migration is the movement of a group of animals from one location to another, typically in order to change habitats or living environment. We must often think of birds flying south for the winter. But migration can be much more than that. It can involve travel east and west, changes in altitudes up or down a mountain, or even a round trip to multiple locations at different times. The length of time will vary based on the distance traveled. It can take several hours or days, or even weeks for animals or insects to complete their journey. Many factors may impact when the animals know it is time to move, including the length of daylight hours, changes in available food, and how much energy it takes to stay warm. Examples of migratory animals are Clark's nutcracker, elk, and mule deer, all found in Glacier National Park in Montana. All three of these animals live high in the mountains during summer, but travel to the mountain base in winter for better access to food and milder weather conditions. Most birds survive the winter by going south to warmer places. This is called migration. These wildebeest are actually moving because of the temperature change and because their grasslands will die out if they stay in the one place. So they have to move a long way to get to better grasslands and to eat. So they're changing, they're migrating because of food. You can also see some zebra in amongst them. Some birds survive the winter by going south to warmer places. This is called migration as well. Yet some birds can stay north in the cold, like grouse, wild turkeys, chickadees, hawks, and owls. They grow warm winter feathers. What birds near you can be seen all winter? Grouse burrow into a snowdrift during cold spells and use the winter to protect them from the freezing air. This is called a snow roost. Cold-blooded animals like reptiles and amphibians also hibernate when the days grow shorter. They burrow into the mud at the bottom of their pond or lake. All winter they sleep and take oxygen to their skin from the water. They need the warmth of the environment to heat their bodies, so they must start hibernating on time. If they're caught out on a freezing day, they will die. A few frogs, like spring peepers, tree frogs, and wood frogs, spend the winter buried under dead leaves on the forest floor. Their blood changes so they won't freeze easily. Snow on top of the leaves also helps keep them from freezing air. On the first day of spring, the peepers come out and start singing. I know I've shown you the frog that it looks like it's dead, and then you warm it up with your hand, and all of a sudden he becomes alive again. All right, so our last one is resistance. And here we have the snowshoe hare. It hasn't disappeared. It is here. All right, so this snowshoe hare not only changes color, that's why we didn't see him. He's white like the snow. But he has big back feet. Oh, look at those back feet. Right. So he does not fall through the snow, and he can move very quickly. His extra fur and his swiftness help him tolerate the cold. No wonder we don't see him. So, is he the only one? There are many, many ways this adaptation of resistance has evolved in different species. Animals that live in cold climates tend to be larger, so their body mass to surface ratio is higher. For example, cold weather bears like polar bears are larger than bears found in tropical areas like sun bears. Birds will fluff out their feathers to keep a layer of air around their bodies, huddle together to keep warm, or roost in tree cavities. Tiny ears and tails are another adaptation that animals have, like the pika, a relative of the rabbit. Small appendages that are close to the body stay warm and resist frostbite compared to having large ears or long tails like rabbits. Thicker coats of either fur or hair grow in to act as an additional layer of insulation. Mountain goats have very heavy wool undercoats and hollow hairs that keep air trapped close to the body, keeping the cold and wetness out. Similar to mountain goats, moose also grow a coat with hollow hairs to keep them warm. Snowshoe hares, weasels, Arctic fox, and ptarmigans all change color as winter approaches. Their fur or feathers change from brown to white, which provides them two major advantages. The new fur or feathers are thicker and act as a better insulator than the brown summer coat, and the color change allows these animals to be camouflaged in the snow to avoid predators and hunt prey. Squirrels nap and snack on food they have stored in the fall. Now, my assignment for you is to play the animal adaptation game and write down why the polar bear is able to adapt to his environment. You will have to play the game as the answer is on page 3. They ask you to consider how the other animals are adapted to their environment, have adapted to their environments. Mention one of the animals and tell me what you think. Send your answers to me in Teams or Canvas. Our case is closed. Bye-bye, case. On to another episode of STEM. Bye, children.